as we are engaging 7 candidates among the 14 who have expressed interest to become the county's next senator. And in studio with me this morning, just to take you through the candidates with me, I have William Wahome Kabera vying for senator under the Democratic Party of Kenya ticket. I have with me Julie Wanjiru Kabogo, who is vying under the Chama cha Kazi party ticket. I have David Mwangi Gishuru vying under the Party of Democratic Unity. I have Daniel Ogwoka Ochweri vying under the NARC Kenya party ticket. I have Pamela Ateka Mukolwe vying under the Democratic Action Party of Kenya ticket. And of course, also this morning with us is Justin Nyang'wono Misoka, who is a senatorial candidate for Nairobi under the National Ordinary People's Empowerment Union Party, also known as NOPEU. And also with us is Abdul Kadir Ahmed Jama of the Usawa kwa Wote Party. Thank you once again for being so patient and for coming. All right, so before we took the break, we were talking about the issue of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services and what you would have done different if you were senator, as at the time this deed of transfer was being signed, Justin.
Actually, so in my take, you know, the county government and the national government, they are interdependent. They are not that sovereign per se. But under Article 187 of the Constitution, that article provides that the functions can be transferred from the county government to the national government. But the due process of law was not followed. We didn't have the public participation whereby the stakeholders who are Nairobians didn't have a say. That is a constitutional requirement. But what I can say, NMS has tried in the performance of its duties. Yes.
Okay, Abdikadir, what is your take on the handing over of functions to the Nairobi Metropolitan Services?
Okay, thank you. I don't support NMS. What we have done is that we just have expounded the corruption net, and the county looting have just continued. Because if you look at the Auditor General, what they have brought in forward, their reports, it is very depressing to see the amount of money that's not accounted for. So what I will have done is that if the county governor or the county government failed, we could have disbanded that county government and we go to election and elect a new governor. Because it is the people's power, it's not the government power. But with NMS, I think it was just another project of the government to control Nairobi and its resources. So what I will have done is that I will have fought tooth and nail to bring back the Nairobi County to the people of Nairobi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for responding to that. Now I want us to close that chapter and get to the next thematic area that we were to focus on today, and that is the county revenue generation and expenditure management of the county funds, which will be part and parcel of some of the most fundamental roles that you have to play as a senator. And I'd like us to go step by step in this one. Let's begin by the money that the county generates and your thoughts on how best this can be done. And in the last financial year, in Nairobi's own source revenue that was collected was 10 billion shillings against a target of 16.5 billion shillings. This I'm getting from the Commission of Revenue Allocation fact sheet, the 3rd edition. And I just want to understand, beginning from you, Julie, 10 billion is what was collected in the last financial year's the on-source revenue for the county.
Yes.
And those who've done research and assessment say we have a capacity of generating up to 16.5 billion shillings plus. What is it that you do to ensure that this margin shrinks or is not even there at all?
So this we go back to our illness. So the main reason why we are not able to achieve our target is mainly corruption. So we're not even able to be accountable because the level of accountability for anyone, as I said, national government is accountable to whom? To the National Assembly, whom they barely account to. So these interconnections of the governments really is not helping. There's no proper audit done externally or even internally by the Senate to report and say. And then we go back to our Senate fund, where we need to audit and see where did we lose, where did we not collect from. There's no proper accountability per se of how the county even collects. They might say they collect 10, but it's what they say versus what. There's no comparison. We say cars are supposed to be charged 200. Someone is at the parking. They're like, if you're going to stay less than an hour, my supervisor won't be here, so you can pay 100 shillings. That is lost revenue. So what is we need to have a system of how this works. So systems first are wrong. So we have a good target, yes, but our means of collection and meeting the target is wrong. So we need to find a way to work this.
Because we still have some time left, do you have ideas on other avenues or opportunities that the county can tap to make more money for itself?
Digitization is the best way to go. It has really helped in terms of rates, because people used to get receipts on this is the amount of rates you're supposed to pay, and you can go negotiate and someone is able to access a computer and edit and tell you this is how much you can pay now. So the moment we have systems and all these are generated, there's really no room to penetrate. So we just need to make this airtight and strict. Yeah, and more supervisory. This is where we come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
David, what is your idea on how this target can be met if you are part of the leadership of the county?
Okay, basically, I have two ways in which you can collect more, and we'll talk about spending less later. First, we have to make sure that you have trustworthy people first. Without people who are trustworthy, you're doing nothing. Then, secondly, we need systems that work. Systems that work means that they can be used by the people who are trustworthy and work for us. We need a communication also from the common mwananchi to the county government. Let the common mwananchi understand what he pays for. Sometimes there's no communication. Mwananchi doesn't know what he pays for. He's just told, you have to pay this month, next month you have to pay fire, the other month you have to pay license. Let us have a system that there's good communication between the county government and the common mwananchi. Thirdly, let us have a simple system of billing and collection. Some time back, it was very hard to pay parking. You dial, that USSD does not work. It doesn't work, so what you do, you're in a hurry, you leave the car, you go trying, then it doesn't work. In 30 minutes, your car is clamped, and it's taken downtown near St. Peter's Clovers. But the issue is not the person, the issue is the system. Let the system be easy to use, and the billing, let it be very, very easy for that. Also, let us have a system that is sustainable. We cannot have a system which comes with this county government, then the next county government, we change the system, and we bring another person to do the billing. Let us have something that is sustainable, something that every Kenyan, when they come to Nairobi, they are able to pay their taxes very fast. And we can have also a public audit system whereby people are able to understand where their taxes go to. People will be willing to pay. The problem is the animosity. You'll find it even in the county officials, we call them kanjo, running after hawkers in town. But has there ever been a meeting whereby they are told, you do this and this, clean this place and this place after you're done with your business, pay this amount? Has there ever been such involvement? We don't have public participation. And you cannot lead people whereby you don't involve them. You don't know their problems, but now you want to assume that the problems that they bring cannot be solved in another way. That is a problem. So that is another case. We need to finish the animosity. And also we need to make the systems work. Lastly, as I had said, we need digitization. Let us not have people paying cash. Let us have systems that work, whereby you pay, you get your service done. Also, the number of licenses should be reduced. Let us have like 1 or 2 licenses, whereby they cover everything. People will be willing to pay. By that, we shall have spread our net. by having more people pay taxes. Let us have more people pay taxes in less amounts, other than have few people pay taxes in large amounts, and they're always escaping to pay the taxes.
Okay.
Yes.
Abdi Kadir Ahmed Jama, I'll come to you on this one. Also, tell me, how do you seek to help the county to generate more funds for itself?
As David said, what happens is that people don't understand where these taxes is going, or the revenue that is being collected, where it is going. They think that this money that is being taken is going to the governor for his personal use. So we have to educate the public the importance of paying tax. We also have to improve our system and make it and digitalize it. Because once we use cash money, money will be lost. But once we make it on digital, the amount that we are going to lose can be minimized. Also, we have to improve our, what we call, we can increase our revenues by expanding our tax collections. Instead of making, let's say, the business permits very expensive for some small scale retailers, we can lower the business permit that is being paid, such that it can hold or it can net in a lot of, let's say, retailers, small scale retailers. We can also make what we call we can also increase by empowering, by increasing the number of the number of business we have in the county, by providing funds for youth to start. If it is uchuzi, we start those funds such that it will fund the hawker, it will fund the small scale trader, which means that we are going to have more businesses than the usual ones or the custom ones. So we can increase by providing those funds such that it can accumulate or accommodate a lot of businessmen and women who cannot afford to start a business, and we can make them return those loans without interest or with low interest, like 2% or 1% or without interest, just to empower them and to increase the income of the Nairobians. And finish the inequality.
Are these things that you will be able to do in your capacity as senator?
I will advocate for.
Having taken you earlier through the roles of a senator, are these things that you can directly do?
Not I can do directly, but I can advocate for that. And I can advise the governor or the county government, because our role is that to oversight and to advise. Because you can tell them to direct those resources where it fits or where you saw it is suitable. You discuss with them, because we are all doing what we are doing for the goodness of Nairobians, not for our personal interest. Thank you.
Justin Nyang'wono, Ms. Soka, also tell me a bit about how, as senator, you will help Nairobi to generate more funds and meet the threshold when it comes to the target in revenue generation.
Okay, that's very important. Everything rises and falls with leadership. That's why in these elections, Nairobians have an opportunity to elect leaders who will really serve them, leaders who have their interest at heart, especially at the county level. It's very sad to see the county assembly. This is the role of the county assembly, to come up with legislations to ensure the county government operates in a smooth manner. But they have failed in their mandate. That's why I want to call on to Nairobians at this moment. Let us elect leaders in these elections. Let us not consider their parties, this narrative of 6 Ps. Let us elect leaders who will indeed serve the great people of Nairobi. The way my colleagues have said, automation of all the payments and services in Nairobi is very key and important to meet the targets in terms of revenue. Another thing is about awareness, to have this awareness to the business community, to all stakeholders in Nairobi, so that they can know or they understand the importance of paying taxes. But they cannot pay taxes if we don't have service delivery. We must have service delivery to encourage the traders, the business community to continue paying taxes. Another thing is, as a senator, this is under my armpit as a senator, we do have laws that empowers the business people, the young people, and the women. But particularly,
You have 30 seconds.
I have a bill, the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Bill, that I will champion in the Senate, that will empower the young traders to operate in the country. You know, it is the success story of that hawker, that small trader that creates opportunity and jobs in the county.
Okay, Pamela, what is that strategy that you will put on the table or advise the governor that will be elected on to ensure that the county meets the threshold in revenue generation?
It's important that the county gets a lot of revenue so that it can be able to run. And it's hard to get revenue in a county where there's high unemployment rates and the youth do not have, there's no ease of business. So the youth are not able to begin businesses because there are a lot of permits that they need to get so that they can be able to begin their businesses. So one thing I will do, I will work with the governor to ensure that there's ease of doing businesses. So all these permits should be done away with, and we have just one permit where this will ensure that not only will we have young people coming in to do business, but everybody else will find it easy to do business in Nairobi. Another strategy I will use is to have a sister city. Sister city program is like to pair Nairobi with a city like New York or Canberra or Zurich. And the sister city program would be, when we have the ease of doing business in Nairobi, then investors will be attracted to Nairobi and they will come in and invest. We've seen a lot of businesses from other countries coming in, like KFC and others, and I'm sure there are others in the pipeline. When they have incentives that will attract them to Nairobi, and when we have this project of the sister city, where we pair Nairobi with another city and they become sisters, we will have the investors very interested in coming in and ensuring that we also get to be a big economic hub like the first world.
Okay, so Engineer Daniel Ochweri, also on this particular point, the county actually generates 11 billion annually. CRA says the county can generate 78 billion annually.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I mean, how can this be possible? How can we make this possible?
You know, the issue of county revenue management is really inflow of revenue, incoming revenue to the county. And the on-source revenue, which is actually the money the county collects. There are many ways that you can really mitigate this. And as a senator, what I recommend is an automated revenue management system, how we collect our money. Because if we have a good automated system, if you need to pay maybe parking fees, you just go and pay. You want to pay a permit, you just pay online and your receipt comes. That really eradicates, it removes the third party and it eradicates a lot of corruption. And also it will give us investor confidence. If let's say an investor wants to do a business, wants to get a license, it is very well automated. Well, these are the requirements you need to get a license. This is what you pay and your receipt comes. It really helps. And also we should have many streams. For example, if you want to get a permit, you don't really have to come to City Hall to come and get a permit. You can do it in Kibera or in Ruaraka. You have many different streams. This will enable, we have a lot of collection coming in, and we can be able to get to 78 billion. The most important thing is collection and utilization. How do we utilize this money? If we collect the money and it doesn't go to the service delivery of the Nairobi people, then we really don't beat the purpose. But my main thing, and as Senator, what I'll do is to make sure that will enable us to collect more revenue, and then you can take it to different levels, and that will help our Nairobi County. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll come to you, William. When you were beginning this, you told us about your wealth of experience in management.
Yes.
You've worked with different companies.
Yes.
How are you going to use your skills as a manager to ensure that the county makes more money than it is making currently?
Thank you. I believe that Nairobi can actually be able to make the 16 billion that we are talking about. If only we actually look at a number of things that we need to look at. First, in terms of revenue, you can actually add more revenue by actually reducing the tax. You just incorporate more people, so you are looking at the volume versus reduced taxation. So that would bring in more money. You involve the public, there's more public participation, whereby we reduce now the tariffs, whereby we bring more people, they are willing to pay because it's more reduced. Secondly, have a policy whereby people understand, let's not have on the road instructions whereby some hawkers in certain states do not pay. Others are supposed to pay. So people do not understand who is supposed to pay where and what. So let's be guided on that. The other one I would want to look at is the element of devolved payment points. Because just like it was mentioned, why should we, all of us, come to City Hall? And then the next thing is that even the digital system is not working. Why don't we do it at the ward level? And then, because those are the same people who understand the kind of business I have. And the other thing is, can we identify the different businesses and the tax they're supposed to pay? Because we are having a big issue whereby a small business that makes very little, as long as they count in terms of space, as long as you have all this big space, but you are making nothing out of it, you pay the same amount of money than a person who is making so much money because of the kind of business he's doing. The other one is, I would want to look at it in terms of facilitation of also the county getting more revenue. The titling, the title deeds, the moment you actually ensure that there are titles and people own those places, they will be able to develop them, and the county government will come in for landlords. So if you facilitate that, again, you will get more money coming in. The other issue is also in terms of the governor, the kind of people he brings in as his CECs. If they are not qualified, and these are just friends he has picked across there, they will not come here and bring better ideas of how to ensure that they will have more resources. That to me, that's an issue. The other one is also encourage people by paying like yearly, like parking. Have it reduced, but these people, you are assured of more money right from the start. You can be able to plan for it, not just the little bit that comes you daily. Go it for yearly and then reduce it. You'll be able to budget on that very well. So to me, that is all what I want to. And then in terms of the incoming investors, let's look at it in terms of our tax haven, whereby we'll see how do they come in to be able to employ our people, and then in terms of taxes, reduce, and whatever they're supposed to pay, let it be in line with the kind of business they are doing. The other one that maybe look a bit funny, just as we conclude, yeah. Can we be able to invest in the other counties whereby to ensure that we have very minimal of rural-urban movement? Let the other counties also involve their people there, such that we don't have so many people coming here, they're unemployed, and this county cannot.
So you hope to close the doors of Nairobi to shut people out? You want to shut people out?
No, I'm not shutting them out.
Yeah.
Let them also do something that will make their people get employment there and have something. Instead of all of them coming here, and here we are, as a governor, you are caring for people who have come from so far away.
Okay, that's an interesting one. I didn't even see that coming. But David, you were the first to have your hand up.
Yeah.
What is it that is burning?
I thought the more we have people, the more the money. India has, I don't know how many billions of people, the more the money. China, the same case. I think the more the people, the more the labor, the more the tax, as long as our systems are okay. I don't know.
But is the rural-urban migration a crisis from where you stand? It is.
Not really.
Yeah.
The issue is we cannot accommodate the capacity because we have less manufacturing industries and we cannot accommodate them. But if we would expand our accommodation, let people come to town. Yes.
Daniel?
Let them come. Let them come.
Let the people come.
Yes. Even Jesus said, let them come to me.
That
Daniel,
actually improves our own source revenue because that is more revenue coming to a country. But I think to actually summarize this, the collection aspect is very, very important. The collection, the way we collect the money is how we're going to increase. If we have a lot of loopholes and bottlenecks, then our collection process become a little bit tricky. And then the administration part. Once we collect, how do we administer that money? And then we have managed strategies, how that money goes to various areas so that the service is delivered to the Nairobi people. That is the bottom line.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Abdikadir, your reaction?
Yeah, to add on our home, what he said, we can also invest on agriculture such that we can increase our revenue collection or our revenue income as Nairobi County. Because we have a lot of land which is vacant, which is not make the use of it. We can make use of that land and start producing our own crops. We can also revive our manufacturing companies to increase our revenue.
We actually have idle land in Nairobi.
That is my question.
Yeah. Do we have idle land in Nairobi?
Yeah, some places. There's that government land. We can make use of that even if we can hire. Even if we can hire the land, we can make use of it.
For example, where? Maybe just to give us a good picture
Is there specific
of the location.
area?
Maybe.
Do you have specifics?
I have, but I can't remember well.
Okay, so you don't have specifics.
I don't have specific for now,
Okay.
but I know it is there.
Okay. Pamela, you had something you wanted to react to?
One of my agendas, because I'm running as the Senator of Nairobi, is inclusivity. I believe in inclusivity. So when my competitor talks about having other people go where they belong, I think that is not acceptable in Nairobi. We want to run a Nairobi that is inclusive of everyone who belongs in Nairobi because every Nairobian matters. I had not touched on the issue of NMS. I didn't have an opportunity. I'd like to weigh on that.
My apologies on that.
One, we know why NMS came in. So I think looking forward, we should look at what they were able to achieve. And one thing they were able to do was to drill boreholes and ensure that there's a level of sustainable water in Nairobi. And in a way, our water tables have been a little bit depleted. And I don't think that's a sustainable way moving forward. So as a Senator of Nairobi, I will work with other counties where there's water, like the Ndakaine and the other dams, and also work with the Ministry of Environment to ensure that we, with the governor, ensure that we have sustainable water in Nairobi. The other thing that NMS was able to do was ensure that in the Vitongoji, in slum areas, they were able to ensure that the roads are passable and the blockages which were causing when there were fires, the fire extinguishers were not able to reach other areas. Like you remember, there was Mukuru Wajenga and these other fires where many people died because part of it was because the fire extinguishers could not reach those areas because of the blockages. And this is something that NMS was able to do because they removed these blockages. So moving forward, there are things that NMS did well and are commendable. And these are things that I would wish the incoming governor and me as the incoming senator will be able to see what is it that they did that we can retain and be able to enhance because you see, the key thing is every Nairobian matters. And the key thing is to ensure that our county moves forward.
Okay. I want us to move to the next subject under the revenue generation and expenditure. Now, on the expenditure part, now that, you know, the county has money, or ideally, if any of these elected is going to put measures in place to ensure that the county has money, what are some of the things that will guide the process of expenditure? And I'll start with Justine. I'll come to you with this question. In the last financial year, the budget for the county stood at 39.63 billion shillings. Let's talk about how this money ideally ought to be spent. If you are elected senator, in your oversight role of the county's expenditure, what would you cite as priority areas for Nairobi?
Okay, thank you. That's very sad. Out of the 39 billion, over 70% of that money went to recurrent expenditure rather than to developmental expenditure. That's the challenge that we have. So as a county, we must have hostility measures to ensure that, yes, we are paying the salaries and other services, but we remain with a chunk of money to channel to matters development. For the last 5 years, if you ask any Nairobian what has the county government of Nairobi done, they will tell you openly it has done nothing because of that budget deficit, also compounded on corruption. Healthcare in Nairobi, perhaps across the country, yes, it's very important. We devolved it, but the management in the healthcare is wanting. As a senator, I will ensure, and that's why we need to have the amendment of the Constitution, so that we amend key areas such as health issues. Like the other day, the clinical officers wanted to go fast track in Nairobi, and their term was very simple. They have not been promoted for the last 10 years. Something that can be done. So I shall be proposing the National Health Commission that will be dealing with matters health in terms of the staffing and also the hiring of the health personnel in Nairobi. Secondly, it's about the environment that we are in Nairobi. It's very wanting, the environment. We have the rubbish in each and every corner of Nairobi. So I will ensure that we have mechanisms in place. I will work and collaborate with the governor because issues about environment is 90% devolved to the county
You have 30
government.
seconds.
Yes. So, and also in terms of education, ECD, which is devolved, I will ensure that the county government, partnering and working with various institutions, be it national and also international, they come up with a modality of coming up with more ECDs and also empowering those young kids in those ECDs.
Okay. Pamela, what is it that you will do in your oversight role to oversee how much goes to what?
For me, the first thing when it comes to Nairobi is water, water, water. Water is life. Many of the taps in Nairobi have been dry. Many of the households in Nairobi have had a very big dry spell. And having a county which is supposed to be one of the best and amazing cities in Africa, we cannot have that go on. We need to ensure that each and every household in Nairobi has sustainable water. And I listened to the governors as they were explaining their manifesto and their plans. And I found most of those plans work.
system, so we have to improve our healthcare, and I will lobby for that. Second thing is that as an Usawa party candidate, we stand for equality. I will make sure that we have an equality distribution of allocation of resources, such that right now, if you look at the education sector, bursaries are not given according to the needy child. Bursaries are given to who can buy it, or who do I know, in terms of nepotism.
Okay.
So we will make sure that there is that equitable distribution of resources to all wards. One other thing is that we have to deal with insecurity. How can we improve the security of Nairobi? As I said earlier, it is not killing or deploying a lot of police officers in the streets.
Okay.
It's just empowering the youth such that he can have a productive income from what he can do. So we'll advise the governor to provide for those funds. Right now, there's 252 million which is allocated for the youth. I don't know. And I don't know where it goes to, because I have asked a lot of youth and they said that they were not given any coin. So we will make sure that those resources go to as it is said.
Okay, well said, Abdikadir, and that is how we close this debate. And I'd just like to a phrase each for your closing remarks. I'm really pressed for time, and I pray that you cooperate with me on this. Lunchtime news is just about to start. I'll start with you, William. Just a phrase of your closing remarks.
Now, as I go for the senator's position, and I believe that is what the people who agree with me, I'm the best placed, and my priorities and the issues I've put across really affect the Nairobians, and I know I'll be able to legislate on the issues.
Okay. Julie? Precise as possible.
My people of Kanairo, your senator right here, I look forward to serving you. I look forward to highlighting your issues, making sure Nairobi is a better place to stay. And we want a happier Nairobi. Too much stress going on.
Okay. David?
Yeah, as the youth of Nairobi, we have agreed that we must be on the table and not on the menu. I ask you that you may give me the opportunity to serve you. I'll give you better healthcare, better education system, and better infrastructure when it comes to Nairobi. And also, we shall deal with the traffic jam.
All right.
Kanairo msisahau David Mwangi for senator.
All right, engineer.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Safin. Thank you so much, KBC, for giving us this wonderful debate. As your next Nairobi senator, I'm going to make sure that you have all your service needed. I'm going to make sure you have your education taken care of. Your bursaries, not the rich people, they go to the right people. Your healthcare issues are addressed. And remember, my name is Ochweri, O-C-H-W-E-R-I, for Senator Nairobi. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.
Pamela?
People of Nairobi, on the 9th of August, you have an opportunity. You have the vote. And I'd like to request you, on the 9th of August, please vote me, Pamela Atekam-Kolwe, from the DAPK party, as your next senator. I'm passionate about inclusivity. I'm passionate about proper oversight and distribution of resources. I'm passionate about water.
All right.
I'm passionate about youth and women.
All right, thank you. Justin?
Okay, Nairobians. In Justin Nyangono Misoka, you have a sure bet for Nairobi Senate. We cannot afford another 5 years of a TV senator. We need mtumishi, sio mheshimiwa. Na Justin ni mtumishi wenu, hata kuwa mheshimiwa.
Thank you, Abdikadir. Very quickly.
Nairobians, we were electing leaders who don't understand the problem we face in the, down there. I request you, Abdikadir Jama, Dawa Kanairo, you vote me in as your senator, a leader who understands the grand root problem we are facing, the grassroots problems we are facing.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, and God bless you too. Thank you all for coming and for shedding light on this important conversation. That's how we wrap it up, the Nairobi Senatorial debate. Thank you also for being a part of this. My name is Safin Achieng Ouma. Coming up is the lunchtime news with Irene Mchuma Odim. Do stand by for that.